Hey, Yetta, what's on your mind?
Are you sure you want to know?
Not positive.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
We are honored that we've been able to create for you free access to over 653 Life's Inside Track episodes where we share insider tips, making house home, and how to build wealth wisely. We're going to explore that we can accept and celebrate, or how can we accept and celebrate the unique brilliance and intelligence and skills that's within each of us, even when it's different from us.
Wow.
I know.
So exploration of others, their mindset, the experience that they're having.
And the skills
that are built in.
Right. In not only accepting and celebrating theirs, but accepting and celebrating ours.
Ooh, so we get to appreciate our own thinking and somebody else's. I think it's a balancing act, right? Some people put too little on their own thinking, like they devalue their thought process.
Well, especially when it's different than somebody else's. So how often have I thought that there's something wrong with me because you don't get me?
Or I'm confidently wrong.
Or, yeah. And even, okay, so here's a little confession. We spent the weekend with our grandson. And at one point, he said to me about direction and about distance. And I was taking the wrong way. It was too far. And I was going the long way. And I said, absolutely not. Like, this is the shorter route, given where we're coming from and where we're going to. And he goes,
go to church.
Yeah. And he looked at me and he said, that's not true. You don't know. I know. And I'm absolutely certain I'm right. And I went, ooh, calm down, girlfriend. And then I said, well, you can be absolutely certain and absolutely wrong at the same time. Now, it's a battle I shouldn't have picked. Let's face it. I should have just let it go.
12-year-old.
Yeah, I know. Who's never driven a car.
About directions, yeah.
Right? And yet, how often, even when it's valid, which it was valid in his mind because it's not the way his school bus went. But his school bus wasn't going exactly to where we were going.
No, it wasn't going to church. It was going to his house. And the way he was describing is quicker to his house. And his house is close to church.
I know.
And so he was trying.
He was trying. And yet, how often do we do that with people's thinking? Why can't we just let them have their perspective? Like, it would have hurt me nothing to go, great thinking, buddy. That was great work. Rather than needing to prove. And in the same breath, sometimes we don't know what we're talking about and we think we do.
Well, sometimes I say to you, I would agree with you, but then we both would be wrong. That's just a little joke. But no, it's really appreciating the power of multiple perspectives, of different thinking, right? And it's appreciation as opposed to condemnation of someone else's thinking. And I had to really learn this when I was at the board level, right? At the Ottawa Real Estate Board as
when
president.
You were president, yeah.
As president, because my role, yes, I could have a thought, and I'm supposed to be a leader, but I'm a thought drawer outer of the board. So there's 12 other people on the board of directors. And my responsibility as president was to hear each one of their thoughts so that their thoughts could influence the thoughts of the other people around the table. And we could make the absolute best decision that 13 people could make. Well, actually 12. I was just a tiebreaker as president.
Right. And so you could bring your thought process to the table once everyone else had had an opportunity to share their thoughts. And so it was a really cool thing because it translated somewhat to other areas of your life as well.
Especially as a boss at work, right? Because as the founder of the company, if one of us shares our thought,
Especially if it's first, right?
Employees tend to fall in line, even if they have a better idea for efficiency or a better idea that will attract more clients or a better idea of how we're going to serve a client. They probably won't say it because of the leadership position, right? They don't want to step on toes, so knowing what position you are in and when you should share your perspective or your thoughts is important.
It really is.
Yeah, and to appreciate others.
And yet not devalue your own.
Yeah, I'm trying to think which is worse. Devaluing your own or devaluing someone else's?
I think they're both problematic.
I think they totally are. So if I have an issue, Yetta, with devaluing others, thinking my idea is the best, my idea is the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? How do I make it so that I'm open to hear other people's?
I think one of the examples you just gave is very brilliant, and that is hear their ideas first. Before you put yours out onto the table, keep an open mind by asking questions. Because now that gives me evidence, gives everybody evidence, that I'm appreciating their perspective rather than just charging ahead with your own. And that doesn't mean you ought not share yours. Sometimes what I've done, especially in a meeting format or when we're in a conference or I'm facilitating a workshop, I actually ask people to write down their perspective, their thoughts, their thought pattern before anyone gets to share anything out loud.
Yeah, that's great.
Because we know that we're heavily influenced, many of us are, by what other people said. And then all of a sudden, all the answers sound the same.
Yeah, and that's of no value.
No.
Or not much value.
Not near as much value than we're just trying to get consensus.
Right. And then I think it's important to understand styles of thinking, right? Like some people are fast thinkers, some people are slower thinkers. You might see that they, not always, but maybe their walking is fast and their thinking is fast. And then other people are outward thinkers, they're
external processors.
External processors. They're going to talk it out like you do.
Sometimes.
And I'm more an internal processor, so I need quiet. Right.
And so even yesterday when we were preparing for this episode, I said to myself, and this inside joke, but it might make sense to you, shut me face and let him think. And what that means is no more talking, Yetta. You need to close your mouth, open your ears. So basically shut the front of your face, open your ears and let him process. And I actually asked you, do you want me to shut my face? And you said, yes, please. I'd like to think. And so just appreciating the different ways that we take in information and we process information is huge.
And then understand that I had to learn to understand that when you're saying things, you may not be saying your best thinking yet. You are processing out loud, and I just got to shut up and not interrupt your talking so that you can fully process that thought.
Right, rather than correcting me in mid-sentence.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
That thing. And so the point is, let's celebrate each other rather than comparing with each other. That's really what we're attempting to say. And it requires just an open mind so we can listen to others' thoughts as well as express our own.
Yeah. Margaret Cousins said, appreciation can make a day, even change a life. And together, we're clarifying your options, because when your options are clear, your wisdom will flow.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward.